The USMC Scout Sniper Association third annual skydiving boogie is happening July 12th in Orange, Massachusetts at Jumptown Skydiving. All veterans from all eras are welcome. There's also going to be a Hogs Call after party at Red Apple Farm in Phillipston, Massachusetts. You can get all the details on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The date is July 12th.
Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you're listening to, you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 262 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. This week, my guest, Keith Wallen, the guitarist from Breaking Benjamin, returns for his second appearance on the show. His first appearance was episode 198. While Breaking Benjamin is out on the road, Keith Wallen is also releasing new solo music and heading out on a solo tour. When he and I sat down, he hadn't announced his solo tour yet, but now we know that Keith Wallen is going to be at the Palladium upstairs in Worcester, Massachusetts on August 1st on his solo tour. Those tickets are on sale now. We talked everything from new Breaking Benjamin music and movies to Black Sabbath, 3 Days Grace, Metallica, and more. I'm so glad Keith decided to come back on the show, so allow me to reintroduce you to Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. Mr. Keith Wallen, back on the show. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. By the way, I love your glasses. Those are metal as hell.
These are the Wild Thing glasses from Major League. Remember that movie? The Charlie Sheen?
Give him the heater, Ricky.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Exactly. I quote that movie and other movies like Ghostbusters almost daily. It's so funny how movies like that just become part of your vernacular.
Oh, yeah. Our 80s is showing.
Yeah, right? You're out on the road with Breaking Benjamin right now. What movies are you guys quoting on the bus all the time? There's got to be inside Breaking Benjamin jokes.
You know, a favorite one to quote of ours is Tombstone.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a bunch of us, I know I did once, we heard the news about Val Kilmer. I mean, I went and watched it immediately. I was like, man, so he literally just stole every scene in that movie. It was really great.
When that news broke, because obviously as fans, we've known he was sick for a long time.
Yeah.
And they published the list of his movies. I was like, every single one of them is amazing. Every single thing the guy did in his career was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Really great. And, I think he came across, to some people as a little bit of a brat, I guess. But, when people are really just like diehard into their thing and their craft and all that stuff, sometimes it can come across a certain way. But, I think, I don't know, his body of work speaks for itself, for sure.
I read something, because this is Top Gun week, because Top Gun came out this week back in 86 or whatever it was. He's in Top Gun for 8 minutes. Wow. Only 8 minutes.
Wow.
And everybody loves Iceman. That's how you know you're good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And as a singer and as a musician, the other thing that I read about his career is that he insisted on singing in the Doors movie. And he replicated Jim Morrison's voice so well that the remaining members of the Doors couldn't tell that it was Val Kilmer and not Jim Morrison in the movie.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's definitely a testament to his talent all around.
Yeah. Well, the last time you came on the show was in March of last year, and you were getting ready to release your solo album.
Yep.
And you had black hair.
I know. Yeah.
I saw a recent picture of you, and I was like, is that Keith Wallen? I didn't even recognize you.
Yeah. I get bored. You got to change it up from time to time. And although I'm kind of nervous once this blonde hair goes away, there's probably a bunch of gray hair lurking underneath. So I'm kind of nervous.
I have no idea what you're talking about. The purple's not covering any of those. Mine's been dyed so long that no one would recognize me without it, so I can't change it even if I wanted to.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a part of you now. Yeah.
It just becomes part of your thing, I guess. Guys have it a little easier, I think. You can just do whatever you want. It grows back in 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, one thing I've noticed, I've started to get like some white whiskers here too. So I'm just like, dang it. Can't hide it.
The beard thing, my husband's active duty military and he's in the process of retiring. And the one thing he wanted to do more than anything was grow a beard because he's never been able to do that because he's had to shave every day for his whole career. And he's more excited about the beard than I am, to be honest.
Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah, my wife's not a fan. So then when I get on tour, I just grow it. I'm like, ha ha.
Yeah. You guys have never been on the receiving end of the beard. If you were, it would be a different situation. It hurts. It scratches.
Yeah, I could see that.
So when you were on the show, you were talking about the solo album, obviously. This new song, this is the big question for every musician I have on the show. Are you releasing full albums moving forward or singles moving forward? Because that shift in music is happening in a big way right now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, everybody's kind of doing the single thing. Really, it's because there's so many things that come out all the time. So many artists are releasing things. I mean, I don't know what the exact figure is, but it's pretty just shocking just how much stuff. So I think really we got to just keep putting out stuff to stay kind of in the people's eyes and stay relevant to a certain degree. But, right now I'm planning on putting some singles out and eventually if that leads to an album and those songs being on it, then cool. But right now it's kind of like, all right, let's do some of these songs. Let's put them out and just kind of see what happens.
We're talking about the single Us Against the World that's available everywhere right now. Can you tell me about the song? Because I know there's a lot in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's life's tough, and you want to have a partner, you want to have a friend, whether it's, your significant other, a best friend, a team, a band, your band. It's like sometimes you feel like it's just, holy shit, it's us against the world. I mean, it's a tough industry to get into, music industry. And I mean, just life itself. I don't know. But then also it's like you want to have people to kind of celebrate the wins with too. So it's a cool thing, both the ups and downs. But I wrote it during COVID. It's kind of an old idea that I've had a while. We were all trapped in our houses and I was just like, my God, can we get out there and just like, if we do get through this, it is just like, all right, I'm just throwing my whole heart into whatever it is and just us against the world. So that was kind of my mindset. But, I want to try and write things from a real place, but it's not necessarily a individual person or anything, something that's just kind of, I don't know, it could kind of be applied to whatever.
If there's one good thing about going through COVID and that whole kind of period in world history, I feel like this is a renaissance for rock and roll. There is so much amazing music. The bands are putting on unbelievable tours, and it seems like every day, like you're talking about, there's just so many bands we love on top of their game, releasing not just music, but great music.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that was a trying time for everybody. Obviously, people lost loved ones. And I mean, all of us musicians were just trapped in our houses. I mean, there was one point where I was like, is this it? I mean, am I done being a live touring musician? Obviously you can always write and record and put it out, but playing live and getting out to tour is just the absolute life force of a musician. And it just, I mean, at least for me, it is such an amazing thing to be a part of that. So I was worried that it was going to be done, but a lot of emotions, a lot of, this is of course after, the first 2 weeks of just getting hammered every day. You kind of come to your senses.
There is
and you're like, now what?
I launched a video series because I was building my studio and kind of launching the podcast and the new radio shows and everything. And I have a room in my house where the bar is, and it's where like the military stuff from my family, my trips as an embedded reporter overseas. And so I call it the War Room. And so I started a video show called Cocktails in the War Room. And we did 80 nights, every night live streaming. And I was like, I named the show Cocktails in the War Room. I have to drink.
Right.
And then after a while, I was like, I don't think this is good for me.
Yeah.
So we had to start doing mocktails in the War Room. And we would pick days to be sober because we realized it probably wasn't good.
Oh yeah, it definitely caught up after a while. I was like, am I an alcoholic now? So it's like, but yeah, it's like, God, every damn day the news was bad and, just nowhere to go. What else are you going to do?
Well, it's a good thing that you love to tour as much as you do, because Breaking Benjamin has been out as road dogs. You're on tour right now with Breaking Benjamin. Where are you? Do you even know?
Yeah, I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida. We are actually, and we just played Tampa last night. It's our makeup shows from last fall when the hurricane came through. So we're just stoked to be back here and be able to make up these shows. But yeah, we're like halfway through the second leg of the Awaken the Fallen tour. Yeah, I love touring. I mean, between Breaking Benjamin and the solo stuff, I mean, I'm out there. So
I just talked to Cody from Wage War, and
I saw that.
He was so excited about this tour. And one of the things he was talking about is that he was like, you're not going to see the same band 4 times, that this tour really gives you a little bit of everything. And he was so excited to be able to get back on the road with you guys.
Yeah, this is really just been a long time coming, I feel like, because we've been such a fan of Wage War, and we've been friends with Cody for a few years now. So we've been really stoked to get on tour with him. He's actually just like in the room next door to me right now. But yeah, just an amazing human being, an incredible artist and songwriter. And his whole band is just amazing. I mean, it's been awesome. Both Wage War and Lakeview just been great. So yeah, it's been amazing. And looking forward to closing out this tour strong, man. It's going to be awesome.
I asked him, because obviously Stained are local heroes here. I was like, be careful. You're going out on the road with a bunch of massholes. You might pick up that accent. He was like, God, I hope not.
Yeah. We're all a bunch of Southern boys, I think they're from Florida, and, I live in Tennessee. So, I don't think we're picking up anything anytime soon. We're stuck with our own thing.
Cody was telling me he's a Nashville guy too. You guys are literally the invasion of Nashville continues. Every time I talk to somebody, some band, at least one member of the band is in Nashville now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Music City, music capital of the world. What's wild is, I don't live in Nashville. I'm kind of more on the east side of the state, but I'm in Nashville all the time for just various music things, writing or whatever. But it's just been wild, just even in the last 10 years, just the difference between, the population, the skyline and everything. It's wild. Yeah. And then of course the Strip is crazy. It's like, bridesmaid and bachelorette party central. So it's wild, man.
Everybody that I know that lives there is like, it is hell on earth. And I just laugh because I don't think Nashville for a long time had the tourism, quote unquote, problem that a lot of other places have. Being from Boston, where it's all college kids and tourists all the time on really little roads, our traffic is famous. Watching you guys struggle with it kind of makes me giggle a little. I got to be honest.
Yeah. They were not prepared. The infrastructure is not meant for that. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
When you guys get done touring with Stained, you've already announced your dates later this year with 3 Days Grace, who have got their first album in 13 years with Adam Gontier coming out in August. Yeah. 2 shows up here in September at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, September 11th, and the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire on September 14th. 3 Days Grace, like the only band ever that could pull off bringing back the old singer and keeping the new singer. Try to imagine Van Halen pulling that off, like never. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Obviously, I mean, when I was in college, 3 Days Grace came out, and I thought Adam was amazing, and it's really great to see him back. But I will say this: I don't feel like Matt gets enough credit for jumping in and trying to fill. Those are some big shoes to fill, and he's kept that band alive and going for the last 10 years. So. It's been pretty cool, and for them to kind of work that out so that both are singing, it's going to be a fun tour. So I'm stoked to see that whole dynamic.
They were up here on the first leg of the Disturbed tour, and they played the Boston Garden. So I got a chance to see it very early on. And the way that Adam and Matt kind of go back and forth with vocals for 3 Days Grace, the show is awesome. They're great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. That's great.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, because I know that you guys have spent time on the road with Three Doors Down over the years, and obviously the news that came out about Brad Arnold and Three Doors having to cancel their summer tours.
Yeah.
Is there a nicer guy in rock and roll than Brad Arnold from Three Doors Down?
I've never met him personally, and obviously my heart goes out to him and his family and all of Three Doors Down. I mean, just absolutely devastating news. But everybody that I know that does know them and are familiar with them have nothing but the best things to say. So it's just really just terrible. I actually saw them in concert this past fall. It was at Bridgestone. They were out with Creed. It was like Mammoth, Three Doors Down, and Creed. I saw that show, and they sounded great. I mean, it was a great show, and obviously Creed just tore the roof off the place. But it's just awful, and I'm really praying for him, and I hope that he can make hopefully a full recovery. It's terrible.
I just had Wolfgang Van Halen on the show, and somebody should have gone to Vegas and put money on this dark horse. Who could have predicted the return of Creed the way that they're back? Like, no one would have bet on that ever.
No. I mean, and I actually was, so I used to play in a band called Eileen's Way back in the day, and we actually did a tour opening for Creed when they first did a comeback. They did like a comeback, I guess, I want to say it was 2012 or something like that. And I mean, it was cool. It was a big show, but nothing like it is now. This is a cultural phenomenon again. So it's pretty neat to see.
One of the biggest music stories of the year that I have to talk to you about is the final performance of Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And I feel, even though I'm not a musician at all, as we are very well aware, that it's kind of impossible if you're in rock and metal to not be influenced or impacted in some way by Ozzy and Sabbath. So what do Ozzy and Sabbath mean to you?
It's an end of an era. I love Black Sabbath. I love Ozzy. One of the originators of heavy metal, arguably. I don't know. I've been a fan for years. I think that was one of my first albums whenever I first, got a CD player in the 90s. I had Led Zeppelin 4. I had Metallica, Ride the Lightning, and the other one was Blizzard of Oz. And man, I wore that album out, and just, everybody thinks of Ozzy and they think, the Osbournes and just like, puttering around and rambling and Sharon, all the stuff,
That's a pretty good impression.
But but the guy, his voice is unbelievable and unmistakable and iconic and just a great vocalist, a great songwriter. And it's sad to see it come to an end, but all good things, I guess,
Sam Carter from Architects was on the show recently. And it's funny that you talk about Ozzy's voice because, like you said, I think so many people just think about the antics, the craziness. But Sam Carter was talking about the skill and the range and those albums, what Ozzy as a vocalist did. He goes, I don't think he gets enough credit for just being great at what he does as a singer.
I would totally agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. And some of the old, the Black Sabbath stuff, I mean, just such like cool melodies and blues melodies. It's just got soul and it's just awesome. It's really great. And even with all the stuff and, you think about him, it's hard to understand him talking sometimes, but then when he stepped up to the mic, he's, you understand him perfectly. It's like, he sounds brilliant, so it's kind of funny.
Can I ask you about the big U.S. music festivals? Because obviously Breaking Benjamin takes part in a lot of these big festivals. For a long time, I think the U.S. didn't have the festivals the way that Europe and South America were kind of known for, and now we do in a big way. What is the best festival experience you've had, but not on stage? A festival memory you have of watching another band on some of these festivals that you guys have played over the years?
Gosh. Here in the States or just anywhere?
Just anywhere. Just as, you get the pass. You're a performer, so it gives you access to the stage and the backstage area for all of these other bands. Was there, I talked to Josh Todd from Buckcherry, and he told me that when he was at Woodstock 99 that he got to take a picture with James Brown. And he was just like mind blown. So I didn't know if there was some kind of encounter or performance that you got to experience as a fan at those shows.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We played Louder Than Life. I guess it was maybe, I want to say 2021. And we were playing on the same stage as Metallica. And that's like my band. James Hetfield is like my ultimate hero. And I've never come close to meeting him or anything. And they always say, don't meet your heroes, but I don't care. I've heard great things. I've heard he is just the coolest of the cool. So, but anyway, we were, setting up, we were on the same stage and James's guitar tech, was over there. And my guitar tech at the time was kind of like, hey, you want to, come over here and kind of check out, James's guitars? I was like, yes. I do. So I went over there and his guitar tech could not have been nicer. And I was just like, can I just take a picture of these? He was like, takes one out and just like, here, put it on. And I'm like, I have James's guitar on me and I'm like playing it. And I'm like, please, somebody take a picture of this. And it was like the coolest experience. I have goosebumps even talking about it because that was just the ultimate just thing. And other than meeting him, of course, but it was still pretty cool. He gave me a bunch of pics, and I had like a whole handful of pics. So I went back to like the dressing room and I gave everybody a James Hetfield pic. I shared the wealth, but it was cool. And, so I got a picture holding the guitar. And then of course, later on, we're watching the show and there's James playing the guitar that I was holding. And I was just like, oh man, it was pretty damn cool.
That's the 5 seconds you don't want to meet James Hetfield, when you're over there wearing his guitars and he turns the corner and he's like, what the fuck?
Oh God, that would have been so bad. I've been like, here you go, sir. Here you go, Mr. Hetfield, sir. I was just warming it up for you, sir. Yeah, that would have been bad.
The last time I sat down with him in person was at Gillette Stadium in like the Patriots locker room when they played there on the last stadium tour. And I had to endure the Tom Brady jokes. So I can tell you that whole don't meet your hero thing when it comes to James Hetfield Falls. However, he is going to bust your balls about sports because I had to take it pretty good.
Now who's his team? Obviously not Boston teams.
Yeah, obviously not. I mean, he's I believe, aren't they Raiders guys being from Northern California?
Oh yeah, San Fran. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I should know this.
Yeah.
I should know this as a true fan, but I guess I don't know.
but this was still in the Tom Brady era, the good old days of the Patriots back in the day. So there was, giant pictures of Tom Brady all over the walls. And of course, I had to endure James Hetfield's deflated balls jokes all afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you're going to take those jokes from anybody, you might as well take them from James Hetfield, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So when you're out all year, basically, with Breaking Benjamin, are you able to carve out time, A, to work on more solo music, and B, to be able to actually carve out some time to go out and do your solo music? What's the rest of the year look like for you?
Well, I will say it's able to be done, but with a lot of coffee and a lot of willpower. And so I think after this tour, we're going to have a little bit of a break, and I think I'm going to have an announcement here soon for a solo tour in July. And then we do the tour with 3 Days Grace in the fall, and then I'm working on another solo tour after that in the fall. So it's going to be a pretty busy back half of the year. Honestly, I just love it. I love both things. It's cool being able to play these big shows, but man, there's something about just getting in the van with the boys and my solo band and playing some of these smaller places and just seeing people's just eyeballs, looking at you, and just, it's a different kind of energy. But it's definitely tough. But I love it. I love it.
Well, what's great, and I think some bands are better at it than others, is that you're able to do both and encouraged by Breaking Benjamin to do both. And I think sometimes with bands, they don't want you focusing energy on anything else.
Yeah, that is 100% true. I mean, Ben has been such a champion for, me and my music and all of us, really. He's been so encouraging and supportive of all that. And you said it, lots of, people aren't kind of really down for that. They kind of like, hey, focus on this thing. But, that being said, my solo stuff in no shape or form has had anything to do with any of the Breaking Benjamin delays in releases or anything like that. I see stuff all the time. Whenever I put a song out, they're like, yo, why aren't you working on Breaking Ben? Well, it's like, well, we are working on Breaking Ben 2. But, we're making sure that we're going to get it how we want it. And, Ben said it the other day. He's just like, we're a little bit older, so it takes us a little longer to do stuff. So
I've made that joke a lot that, you're older, you can't do it 10 times, but you can do it right once. And that's what counts.
100%. And once you put it out, it's out forever. And but we're not, there's not every waking second and every, doing all that. So I got time to do a little bit of stuff for myself and, try to manage my time the best I can. And life is fleeting, and I want to just get it all out there while I can,
You said you had an announcement about a solo tour coming up. I'm not going to be offended that you don't want to make that announcement here, but I'm not doing my job if I don't ask you about new Breaking Benjamin music.
Sure. Yeah. That's just it. We've had one song come out, and it was just an amazing response. We're actually playing it live on this tour, so we're really stoked to be playing some new music, and we're working on some new stuff too. We've got a few ideas that are pretty close to being finished, and a bunch more on the way. So I don't think it's going to be too long, but you never know.
Spending so much time on the road, either in the van with the boys on the solo tour or obviously on the bus with Breaking Benjamin, there's a lot of time at truck stops in the middle of the night. What's the craziest thing? Because the truck stops in the United States, there are influencers from other countries that just make TikTok videos about American truck stops. So what's the craziest thing that you've picked up in the middle of the night in a truck stop?
Well, I'll tell you what the craziest thing, when we're doing some of these solo tours, sometimes we're doing long drives and you just want a shower and you don't want to pay for a hotel room, you'll get a shower at a truck stop. The price of a shower at a Love's is $18. So that's the craziest thing to me. That is just just highway robbery, if you ask me. But you got to get a shower sometimes, But the craziest thing, I mean, I always love, getting these, stupid T-shirts. There's a T-shirt with an eagle and some lightning on it. I'm like, I'm getting that.
I always wondered where those and the wolves, where people get those T-shirts, and that's where you get them, at the truck stop in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, it is spirit animal galore at the truck stops.
You answered one of the most burning questions of my life, is where people are getting those shirts, because I see people wearing them, but I never see them like on a rack somewhere where you can buy them. I guess I'm just not looking at the clothing section of the truck stops.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's pretty much half my wardrobe is the truck stop shirts. So, I mean, I don't know. That's in style, right?
I guess so. I am. Knowing that about you now, Keith, when you're up here with Breaking Benjamin in New England in September, I'm coming to the show. I'm bringing you Mistress Carrie shirts so that I can round out your spirit animal wardrobe.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I can't wait.
I've got trucker hats too, so I'm going to hook you up because I know you like those too.
Oh, I do. I am a hat guy for sure.
It was so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. And thank you to all your listeners for checking out my music. I know there's so much stuff coming out all the time. So just giving me a little bit of time, I really appreciate it.
Well, we'll see you in September.
I'll see you there.
All right. We'll see you later. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
There he is, Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. His new single, Us Against the World, is available everywhere and featured on this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll find the playlist linked in the show notes of this episode, along with my links, Keith's links, and the Breaking Benjamin links. There's also links to buy tickets to the Palladium upstairs on August 1st in Worcester, Massachusetts, to see Keith Wallen on his solo tour, and to see Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace September 11th at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, Massachusetts, and September 14th at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the sit rep. All of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room, and you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at MistressCarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.